What's up, guys? Welcome back to Book Demystified. Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive on your savings? If that thought makes your stomach drop, you're not alone. And that's exactly why Bola Sokunbi wrote Clever Girl Finance. This isn't just another personal finance book filled with complicated investment jargon or get-rich-quick schemes. It's a practical, empowering guide specifically designed to help women take control of their financial future, build real wealth, and stop feeling anxious every time they check their bank account. Sokunbi breaks down everything from eliminating debt to investing for retirement in a way that actually makes sense. And today, we're diving into the strategies that have helped thousands of women transform their relationship with money. Bola Sokunbi isn't some Wall Street executive talking down to you from an ivory tower. She's a certified financial education instructor who built her own path to financial freedom while working a corporate job and raising a family. After paying off over $40,000 in student loans and building significant wealth, she realized that many women were struggling with the same money challenges she had faced, often because financial advice was either too complicated, too male-focused, or simply not addressing the unique obstacles women encounter. She founded the Clever Girl Finance platform to fill that gap, and this book represents years of her teaching, coaching, and real-world experience helping women from all walks of life master their money. What makes her perspective unique is that she understands the emotional and psychological barriers that keep women from building wealth, not just the mathematical ones. The foundation of everything in Clever Girl Finance starts with what Sokunbi calls getting real about your money. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes each month, and this ignorance keeps them trapped in cycles of debt and financial stress. Sokunbi emphasizes that you cannot improve what you don't measure, so the first step is conducting a complete financial inventory. This means listing every single source of income, every debt you owe, every monthly expense, and every financial account you have. It sounds tedious, but this clarity is transformative. She shares how women in her programs often discover they're spending hundreds of dollars monthly on subscriptions they forgot about, or expenses that don't align with their actual values. The key insight here is that awareness creates power. Once you see the full picture of your financial life laid out clearly, you can make intentional decisions rather than just reacting to whatever crisis comes up next. This isn't about judgment or shame for past mistakes. It's about creating a baseline from which you can build something better. Once you have that clarity, Sokunbi introduces the concept of paying yourself first, which is fundamentally different from how most people handle money. The typical approach is to pay all your bills, spend on whatever you want or need, and then try to save whatever's left over at the end of the month. The problem is, there's almost never anything left over. Sokunbi flips this completely. She argues that the moment you receive income, the first thing you should do is transfer money to your savings and investment accounts before you pay a single bill or buy a single thing. This isn't selfish, it's strategic. By automating this process so the money moves to savings automatically, you remove willpower from the equation. You learn to live on what remains rather than trying to save from what remains. She recommends starting with whatever percentage feels manageable, even if it's just 5 or 10%, and gradually increasing it as you adjust your lifestyle. The psychological shift this creates is profound, because you start seeing yourself as someone who saves and invests, not someone who's always broke and stressed. Debt elimination is another cornerstone of the Clever Girl Finance philosophy, and Sokunbi is refreshingly realistic about it. She acknowledges that debt isn't a moral failure. It's often a result of circumstances like student loans, medical bills, or simply not having the financial education to make better choices earlier. But staying in debt keeps you trapped, paying interest that could be building your wealth instead. She walks through two main strategies: the debt avalanche method, where you focus on paying off the highest interest rate debts first to save the most money mathematically, and the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest debts first to build psychological momentum. Sokunbi generally favors the avalanche for pure financial efficiency, but she acknowledges that the snowball works better for some people who need those quick wins to stay motivated. The crucial point is, you must stop accumulating new debt while you're paying off old debt, which means getting comfortable saying no to lifestyle inflation and instant gratification. She shares stories from women who paid off tens of thousands in debt by getting intense and focused, sometimes taking side hustles or selling things they didn't need, all while keeping their eyes on the freedom that awaited them on the other side. Building an emergency fund is non-negotiable in Sokunbi's framework, and she makes the case for why this should actually come before aggressive debt payoff in most situations. An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses saved in an easily accessible account, and it serves as your financial buffer against life's inevitable surprises. Without this cushion, every unexpected car repair or medical bill forces you deeper into debt, creating a cycle that's nearly impossible to escape. She recommends that if you have high-interest debt, you should build a small starter emergency fund of around $1,000 first, then attack your debt, then build up to the full 3 to 6 months. This emergency fund isn't for vacations or holiday shopping. It's specifically for genuine emergencies, and having it changes everything about how you experience financial stress. When you know you have that cushion, you can handle setbacks without panic, and you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, even if you're not wealthy yet. If you're finding value in these summaries, hit that like button and subscribe for more book breakdowns. Clever Girl Finance dedicates significant attention to investing and building wealth for the long term, which is where many women get intimidated and check out. She demystifies investing by explaining that it's simply putting your money to work so it grows faster than inflation eats away at it. Keeping all your money in a regular savings account actually causes you to lose purchasing power over time, because inflation outpaces the minimal interest you earn. She walks through the basics of retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs, explaining the tax advantages and how compound interest creates exponential growth when you start early. The earlier you start investing, even with small amounts, the more time your money has to multiply. She uses clear examples showing how someone who invests $200 monthly starting at age 25 will end up with significantly more at retirement than someone who invests $400 monthly starting at age 40, purely because of the extra time for compound growth. Sokunbi emphasizes that you don't need to be a stock market expert or spend hours analyzing companies. Low-cost index funds that track the overall market provide diversification and solid returns without requiring expertise. And this is the approach she recommends for most people building long-term wealth. Throughout the book, Sokunbi addresses the unique psychological and cultural challenges women face around money. Many women were raised with messages that talking about money is impolite, that they should depend on a partner for financial security, or that they're not good with numbers. These internalized beliefs create real barriers to building wealth. She encourages women to challenge these narratives and recognize that financial independence isn't just about having money. It's about having choices and security. She also tackles the wage gap and career negotiation, providing scripts and strategies for asking for raises and negotiating salaries, because earning more is just as important as managing well what you earn. The confidence piece cannot be overlooked, because financial success requires believing you deserve wealth and are capable of building it. This summary gives you the core concepts, but I highly recommend reading the full book to get all the depths, actionable worksheets, and detailed strategies Sokunbi provides for every step of your financial journey. Clever Girl Finance is ultimately about empowerment and taking control of your financial destiny, regardless of where you're starting from. Whether you're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or are already stable but wanting to build real wealth, the principles here work because they're practical, realistic, and focused on long-term transformation rather than quick fixes. What was your biggest insight from this book? Drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next summary.